Part 1. You will hear 3 different extracts. For questions 1 to 6, you must choose the best answer, A, B or C. There are 2 questions for each extract. Extract 1. You hear part of a discussion with a high school pupil, in which proposed changes to a school dress code are being discussed. Now look at questions 1 and 2.
At present, pupils at Malbridge High School are permitted to wear their own clothes, provided they adhere to the official school colours of navy blue and white. However, plans are afoot to impose a uniform which all pupils will be required to wear. Lucy, as a Malbridge pupil, what's your take?
Well, I'm not opposed to the new policy if it adds a bit of clarity. I mean, at present, there seems to be a discrepancy between what lenient teachers think is acceptable for pupils to wear and what stricter teachers will allow. And schools certainly shouldn't let pupils wear whatever we please.
So you wouldn't mind wearing a school uniform?
Well, I wouldn't necessarily look forward to it, but I can see the need for it. To be honest, I sometimes feel like school's turning into a bit of a fashion show.
So you think a uniform would make everyone the same?
I don't know about that. Can school uniforms break down social barriers? I think people will still have certain biases or stereotypes, sadly. But for me, I just think if we're all wearing the Malbridge uniform, it'll give us an identity, that we're all representing our school community.
Good point.
Extract 2. You hear a woman talking about a community project. Now look at questions 3 and 4.
I'm Dr. Maria Knowles, Project Lead for the Burnford Outreach Association. We help vulnerable residents by offering things like counselling support. The uptake for this service has been tremendous. We've also heard from the authorities that they're intervening in far fewer domestic disputes and disturbances on the street now, something they in part attribute to our work. But we want to go further. Our new project, the Drop-In Clinic, has the potential to transform people's lives, which is why we're so grateful that you've kindly agreed to volunteer. We have the funding to support ourselves over the long term, so as we expand, you'll be mentoring a new intake of students from the university in order that we can help even more people. But that's for the future. Right now, we need to spread the word so that we reach the people who would benefit from this service. This isn't as easy as it sounds, because many of the people we want to help have, for various complex reasons, slipped through the system. In fact, this is precisely why they have no other way of getting their medical needs met. We need to find the right channels to promote our services, so we...
Extract 3. You hear a man talking on the radio about a classic film which has been remade. Now look at questions 5 and 6.
Whenever a classic gets a remake, or reboot, I think people call it nowadays, there's always the fear that the essence of the film will get lost along the way. But that doesn't mean you need to stick slavishly to the original. Otherwise, what would be the point? I admire this version of Lydia because it's retained all the slapstick humour of the original but injected more warmth into the proceedings. That's largely due to the inspired casting of Robin Fletcher as Harry. He conveys far more emotional nuance than Walter Peters managed to muster. Admittedly, I didn't recognise the music in this version, but that was to be expected. I dare say I'm not the target viewer. I'm sure younger audiences would appreciate the fact that this version is much zippier than the original, with all the main plot points arising almost immediately. Given Lydia is a film that's light on serious drama, Alcott might not have been the obvious choice of director. But, then again, if anyone can boost the ratings, he can. There's a reason his films are both lauded by the critics and enjoyed by the public, and that's because of his talent for storytelling.